3 weeks here, 2 weeks back, 2 months.
I'm split about his tour. My first response is I'm super happy for him for putting it together. The wife and mommy side of me is like, nah, the wife side of me and mommy side of me is a little sad. You know, daddy's gonna be gone for a long time.
On today.
Like what?
So, we just had a conversation.
What'd he say?
He's thinking about it. I think he's kind of leaning towards doing it. With everything, there are pros and cons. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Say, I'm hungry until he can say, I need to use the bathroom. It's gonna be a lot in your lap. But as soon as he started walking, I told him, I said, enjoy. Because as soon as he get to walking and talking, he went to...
Ashanti and Nelly first crossed paths back in 2003 at the Grammy Awards press conference. And that's when sparks started flying. They kicked off a romance that was never officially confirmed, but everybody knew what was up. Things fell apart around 2013, with whispers of cheating and just not seeing eye to eye. Fast forward nearly 10 years, and boom, they're back together, giving love one more shot. Fans have been rooting for this reunion, but let's be real. The years they spent apart were packed with way more drama than they ever let on. This wasn't just a break, it was a slow, emotional burn that never fully went out. Experts call it an attachment rupture, when a couple splits. But those emotional ties still linger deep down, even if you've moved on publicly. For Nelly and Ashanti, the bond clearly didn't die. It just went underground. Time can play tricks on your heart. After the pain of a breakup fades, all those old memories start to look sweeter, more nostalgic. You forget the arguments and just remember the laughs, the chemistry, the good vibes. That's how people get pulled back in. By the way, if you're getting all caught up in this tea, don't do it on an empty stomach. Hit up argsnacks.com and grab some Applewood smoked bacon jerky, freeze-dried treats, or those crazy good butter toffee peanuts. You'll thank us later. Now, back to the mess. While Ashanti and Nelly were in their separate lanes, things got real sticky on Nelly's end. During his relationship with Chantel Jackson, Nelly confessed to stepping out and having unprotected consensual relations with a woman who later accused him of wrongdoing. According to TMZ, Nelly claimed the accuser, Monique, got upset because she believed he was hooking up with one of his dancers, someone who was on the same tour bus.
Of filming with a baby.
What was some of the challenges of filming with a baby? I'm not gonna even front, like, you know, we have a great nanny. And I mean, whenever I can pry him away from you, it's been pretty much a breeze for me.
I'd say.
Yeah. I probably changed 2 diapers.
I was just
in a
gonna
year.
say probably about 2, maybe 3, maybe.
A couple of PPs, about 1 booby. Yeah, I think I'm at my limit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did good.
Didn't get on this time.
I did.
Yeah.
I definitely.
Nelly got taken in but was let go a few hours later with no charges. Prosecutors said they dropped the case because Monique stopped cooperating. But the plot thickened when she came back with a civil lawsuit, adding statements from 2 anonymous women in England. The drama didn't stop. It only kept unraveling. Several women came forward claiming Nelly groped them and acted out of line, including incidents from 2016 and 2017. The lawsuit with Monique got quietly settled in September 2018. Even though the exact terms stayed under wraps, Nelly's lawyer told TMZ that no money changed hands. And because Monique didn't testify, the authorities dropped an investigation tied to one of the English women who had accused him too. Now, looking back at Nelly's past behavior, it paints a picture that's hard to ignore. With repeated accusations of misconduct, open cheating during a relationship, and his habit of dodging accountability, it starts to feel like more than just random drama. Even though not every claim ended in charges, the pattern is what's alarming. Let's not forget, he was with Chantel Jackson for years while all this went down. Instead of owning up and trying to repair what he broke, he walked away without showing much growth or reflection. That kind of behavior? It screams avoidant attachment vibes. Some people run from intimacy the minute things get hard, and that seems to be Nelly's default move. And that's not even diving into his past arrests tied to substance stuff or the other shady rumors that have followed him around forever. If you want the full breakdown, check the previous video linked in the description. It's all in there. Back to Chantel. Nelly pulled the plug on their 7-year relationship in summer 2021, leaving her in the dust. Just a few months later, in September, Fat Joe threw a curveball during his Versus battle against Ja Rule. He invited Ashanti to perform, but forgot to give her a heads up that Nelly was also in the lineup. By the end of the live stream, Nelly was practically sprinting across the stage to get to Ashanti. He looked like he was about to pull a muscle just to get close to her. Ashanti later spilled on the Angie Martinez show that this was the first time she'd seen or spoken to Nelly in ages. Talk about an unexpected reunion with a whole lot of history behind it. It had been 6 long years since Ashanti had last seen Nelly. So yeah, it made for one seriously awkward moment when he suddenly popped up at the Versus battle. At the time, Ashanti wasn't checking for him at all. She told Angie Martinez she was already in a new relationship and feeling real happy with where she was. Then 2022 came swinging with pure chaos. On February 8th, Nelly accidentally uploaded a private video to his Instagram story. Yeah, that kind of video. It showed him receiving oral sex, and it blew up online before he could delete it. He told TMZ, "I sincerely apologize to the young lady and her family. This was unwanted publicity for them."
Leap through when he starts crying.
Do y'all really be up at night? I heard about it.
You know what? It's absolutely ridiculous that you'll still be dead asleep and he'll be mad loud. That's ridiculous.
You know? It's a gift, I guess.
Why is that a gift?
I'm blessed with that.
No.
I'm gonna take you back to this conversation we had. Before you kicked me under the table, I said, baby, I give you the world. I just ain't changing no diapers.
Oh,
He claimed it was an old clip that was never meant to go public. But here's where it gets weird. Just 6 days later, on Valentine's Day no less, Nelly and Ashanti were spotted in Las Vegas, having their first official date. Now, some folks saw this as a romantic plot twist, but let's be real. Others were side-eyeing the timing hard. How do you go from viral scandal to lovey-dovey date in less than a week? Psychologically, it's giving major compartmentalization. Either Nelly's the kind of guy who totally separates his mess from his love life, or he knows how to pull off a dramatic romantic stunt to shift attention away from controversy. That move? It's called crisis bonding. When someone's caught slipping, they might suddenly cling to a familiar person to repair their image and calm the storm they created. For Ashanti, stepping back into Nelly's orbit right after that mess says a lot too. Maybe she wanted to show the world she wasn't fazed by it, like she was above all the drama. Maybe she thought she could rewrite the story on her terms. But it still raises a tough question. Why would anyone choose to restart a love story right after something so publicly humiliating? After that date, they started performing together again. And by May 2023, a source told Entertainment Tonight that Nelly and Ashanti were officially back on. Nearly a decade apart, and somehow the flame still hadn't gone out. An insider told People magazine that Nelly and Ashanti were taking things slow. But let's not forget, just a year earlier, Ashanti had openly said she was ready to settle down and start a family. Well, things moved fast anyway. Ashanti got pregnant, and the couple secretly tied the knot in December 2023. Nelly opened up on the Bootleg Kev podcast, saying he married her because he didn't want Ashanti to be a baby mama. He added, "We already knew where we were in life. If we are back like this must be what it's supposed to be." On the surface, that might sound thoughtful, maybe even responsible, but when you dig a little deeper, it's giving something else entirely. See, when someone makes a huge life decision, like marriage, but leaves out all the words that usually go with real love, things like affection, trust, happiness, or even respect, that raises red flags. That kind of language gap is often tied to avoidant attachment, where someone avoids deep emotional vulnerability and instead makes big moves based on logic, pressure, or public image. Let's keep it real. Nelly's explanation was mostly about how it would look if Ashanti had a baby without being married. His concern seemed more about avoiding judgment than celebrating love. That's not always a deal breaker. but it does make you question the why behind it all. Was the wedding really about deep connection or about dodging labels? This doesn't mean Nelly doesn't care about Ashanti. But love that's driven by fear of shame isn't the same as love that's built on joy and trust. If you're making lifelong choices just to avoid being judged by the world, you might be protecting your ego more than your partner, and that can lead to resentment down the line, especially if one person ends up feeling like they were chosen for damage control instead of true devotion. And here's the kicker. Nelly once had zero issues having kids without being married. His daughter Chanel and son Cornell were both born years ago with his former girlfriend, and he never talked about not wanting her to be a baby mama. So what's different now? Why did marriage suddenly become the gold stamp he felt Ashanti needed? Is it love? Or is it about upgrading his image now that he's older, more famous, and back in the spotlight with a high-profile queen by his side? Psychologically speaking, this is where it really shows how someone's personal narrative changes with age and shifting circumstances. Nelly's now 50, and his public image has taken more than a few punches over the years. So it's very possible that marrying Ashanti wasn't just about protecting her image. It may have been a calculated move to clean up his own. And let's be honest, it reeks of selective standards. Ashanti isn't just any partner. She's a global icon with a squeaky clean rep. Marrying her comes with built-in protection from judgment that none of Nelly's past relationships ever offered. It's almost like he's saying, look, I've grown. But through optics, not necessarily through action. Ashanti gave birth to their son, Kareem Kincaid Haynes, on July 18, 2024. Then in May 2025, the couple announced they were teaming up with Peacock for a new reality show called Nelly and Ashanti, We Belong Together. Now, on the surface, this might seem like a sweet move, a power couple letting fans into their world. But behind the cameras, there's usually way more going on. Especially for celebrities with rocky relationship histories, reality shows can be less about fun and more about control, branding, and image building. Psychologists call this performative intimacy, when people put their relationship on display not just to show others how strong it is, but to convince themselves too. It's the whole, if the world sees us happy, then we must be good mindset. But that kind of visibility often adds pressure instead of peace. While fans might take this show as confirmation that they finally locked in their forever love, experts would urge caution. Putting your love life on camera doesn't automatically strengthen it. It can expose cracks, especially if the relationship isn't rock solid to begin with. So instead of this move being a flex of confidence, it could actually signal a deep craving for outside validation. Is it true love, or just another storyline for the cameras? Time will tell, but when relationships become performances, the line between real and rehearsed gets blurry real fast. Some folks might say that at 50, Nelly's just too tired to be chasing around a newborn, especially when his older kids are already grown. But let's be real, his attitude rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Instead of stepping up, he made it sound like the whole baby phase was Ashanti's problem to handle, like he was just the backup plan. That kind of energy, cold and disconnected. By acting like those early sleepless nights and diaper runs didn't involve him, Nelly distanced himself from one of the most important bonding windows a parent ever gets. And no, money and a squad of nannies can't replace that. Babies don't just need cribs and cute clothes, they need presence. And silence from the father in those first months? It speaks volumes. Psychologists say this kind of disconnect creates cracks fast. For Ashanti, carrying almost all of the early parenting weight can be incredibly isolating. New moms already feel massive pressure to be perfect, and when their partner pulls back, it sends a loud message. This is your job, not mine. That can trigger resentment and slowly break down trust. The baby feels it too. Experts in child development say those early moments, being held, fed, soothed, are the building blocks of emotional safety. That bonding isn't optional, it's essential. And when a father delays that connection, the child can grow up feeling that absence, even if they can't explain it. From the outside, Ashanti and Nelly's story might look like a fairy tale. The rekindled flame, the baby, the marriage, the TV show. But fairy tales don't show the therapy sessions, the resentment bubbling beneath the surface, or the quiet moments when one person feels alone while the other avoids tough conversations. Love isn't just about running back to what's familiar. It's about changing what didn't work the first time. And if Nelly and Ashanti don't face their old habits head-on, history could repeat itself fast. So here's the real question. Are they back together because they've truly grown? Or are they just playing house, hoping time healed what they never really dealt with? Chemistry is cute, nostalgia is sweet, but real love takes showing up, even in the mess, even when it's inconvenient. And if that kind of work isn't happening behind closed doors, then all the public affection, baby announcements, and reality shows won't keep this thing from falling apart all over again. If you liked this breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more raw celeb stories right here on Juice Alert. And as always, see you in the next one.